Good afternoon. Can I get your attention? Well, welcome, and thank you, each and every one of you, for being here today, not only to those that are in the room with us, but to the 1,100 plus patients that are watching live today from across the country and outside of the country. Very special thanks, just to reiterate what Kathleen said this morning, to our sponsors and exhibitors. Without their generosity and their support this year and in previous years, events like this would not be possible. Please make sure you do visit all the exhibitors, both in the back of the room, as well as the exhibitors in the hallway. You know, in reflecting over the past 12 years, I'm amazed that this is the 12th annual event that we've had. There's a few of you in the room that were actually with us back in San Francisco for our first annual Neuropathy Action Awareness Day. And talk about chaotic. We had no money. We were praying for just maybe 40 or 50 people to show up. And we literally put everything on our credit card, hoping we would raise enough money to pay for the first event. Well, we did, and then some. It was a great event. There were about 150 people in San Francisco. I'm looking at Bev Anderson, who actually brought 30 patients with her on a bus from Sacramento. That bus broke down on the Bay Bridge. Was that Bev? Okay. And our celebrity guest that year was actually Grammy and Golden Globe nominated artist Frank Stallone, who was Sylvester Stallone's brother, and he sang a song, and if I recall correctly, he was pretty drunk that night. He insulted quite a few people in the room, including my mother. So the other fiasco from that day was I served pasta. And I learned very quickly that you do not serve pasta to a room full of neuropathy patients who can't use their hands in most cases. So moving forward 12 years later, you have chicken. You know, but all kidding aside, the reason we have been able to sustain ourselves for the last 12 years and thrive to this day is because we stay true to our core mission. And we've really focused on three basic tenets. One being neuropathy awareness, one being patient and provider education, and the third being patient advocacy and patient empowerment. There's nothing more important than an empowered patient that has information to fight for their rights and to understand their disease and to educate others on the disease. The NAF from day one through today is here 100% for patients. And we take a lot of pride in being one of the first points of contact for patients when they're diagnosed with just about any of the 100 different types of neuropathy. We find that the one thing that is missing, and it's not the doctor's fault, but the one thing that's typically missing within a doctor-patient relationship is an understanding of the emotional aspects of what's going on when a patient is diagnosed with a chronic condition that they know they're going to have for the rest of their life, and they're going to have to treat for the rest of their life. So we deal with the fear, the unknown. And my PowerPoint's going crazy here. We deal with the fear and the unknown. People worry about how fast their disease is going to progress. Are they going to end up in a wheelchair, have paralysis, similar to one of the speakers this morning? And other emotions are embarrassment, especially for men. Something that I experience quite often is a weak handshake. Oftentimes when you have neuropathy, you can't get a grip on things, so you can't give an appropriate handshake. You drop silverware at very inappropriate times, like right now when it's sort of quiet, and you'll hear a big clump because a neuropathy patient dropped something. Obviously tripping and falling, tremors and twitching. There's also a lot of frustration and anger when you're diagnosed with a chronic condition that you know you're going to have for the rest of your life. Even with something like neuropathy that isn't going to kill you, but it hinders you. We heard from a woman this morning in the front here who has been dealing with neuropathy for 20 years and she can't find anything that helps her. And there's a certain level of frustration and anger. Why me? Why can't I do certain daily activities? Why can't I put my contact lens in? Why can't I button my cufflinks or my buttons on my shirt? Computers and typing. You know, and the people like me that have multifocal motor neuropathy who are absolutely blessed because there is a medicine that works for us and we have zero symptoms and our condition is stopped in its tracks. There's a lot of embarrassing moments that occur because I do look so healthy. People don't realize that I have no strength in my right hand. So the story I tell every year, I apologize for the repetition, but I was on a plane once, and there was a little Catholic nun in front of me trying to put her luggage into the storage head above us. And she looked at me for help, and I couldn't help her because I was afraid I would drop the suitcase not only on her, but somebody else. You know, it's hard enough to get my own up there. So it's things like that that also impact you emotionally. And then there's those of us that take IVIG on a monthly basis. It's a liquid gold. It's an amazing medication, but it causes a lot of stress. You know, you have to pre-plan vacations, work, your daily activities around your weekly or biweekly or monthly infusion, constant doctor visits, blood tests. And then you have those insurance barriers like prior authorization, step therapy, therapeutic switching, discrimination issues under the Affordable Care Act, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, we're really proud about what we do, and I just want to highlight one activity, if I can backtrack here for a second, that we're currently involved with that's been pretty exciting for me. We're doing this in partnership with Shire and a public affairs firm called Rational 360 out of Washington, D.C. And it's the first ever type of project that I've been involved with where we're doing digital advocacy or digital awareness for a certain neuropathy, which in this case happens to be multifocal motor neuropathy. Basically, in a nutshell, what this activity is, we're targeting a digital advocacy campaign to increase multifocal motor neuropathy awareness among 3 key target audiences. The first being patients who have MMN already and are aware of it. They know they have MMN. The second group we're targeting are patients living with neuropathy who don't know they have it. And the third group are practitioners, not only neurologists, but nurses, physician assistants, and family physicians. The campaign has already generated, just 2 months in, over 1 million impressions and 67,000 clicks to our website. The campaign has more than doubled the amount of MMN patients in our database, and it's resulted in at least 5 newly diagnosed MMN patients contacting us per week. It's pretty crazy considering there's probably only about 20 or 30,000 patients that actually have this condition. So the way we got started with this project is we did some message testing. We developed message tests to learn about what patients respond to. And we did this with the thousands of names that are already in our database. We sent out different images that appeared when they opened up their Facebook, their Twitter, LinkedIn accounts. They were ads that were targeted to current MMN patients. And we wanted to see what messaging worked the best. The messaging pilot served about 12,000 ad impressions to an audience of about 10,000 targeted individuals and generated almost 700 clicks to additional information. Once we knew what worked, we started the campaign in our 3 different target audiences. The first being, once again, people who have MMN and know it. And this is where we did a lot of stuff with Facebook. We put targeted ads on MMN to patients who have Facebook. It reached over 304 people, serving 4,700 impressions and generating 109 click links. The most exciting part of this, in my opinion, is the next phase, where we targeted people who have MMN and don't know it. Whenever people did keyword searches in a search engine like Google or anything similar to Google, they would be served ads. And it directed them to our website. It directed them to our multifocal motor neuropathy page where there's information, patient stories, surveys, public service announcements. And this is what's really exciting to me is the number of people that were searching for information on this disease that knew very little about it. They received our ads because of the words they were searching for, and they were directed to our website for more information. We're also targeting practitioners or providers. And this is really cool too. We micro-targeted the American Academy of Neurology meeting a month or 2 ago, and anybody who signed on to their Facebook or other forms of social media received multifocal motor neuropathy ads. These ads during this meeting reached 3,332 providers with a total of over 8,000 impressions, which is really kind of a cool thing for providers going to a meeting to be targeted and see multifocal motor neuropathy ads when they sign on to their social media channels. In fact, we're doing that today as well at this meeting. Within a 1 mile radius of this meeting, anybody that may have neuropathy, and I have no idea how this works, people a lot smarter than me in the public affairs world and the Barbie Ingalls of the world understand this a lot better than me. But when some of you in this room, most of you in this room actually, if you check your Facebook, there's a very good chance that you're going to get a multifocal motor neuropathy ad pop up today. So that's just a little bit about what we're doing in the space of multifocal motor neuropathy. In conclusion, people always ask me, what can they do to help out our foundation or to help me out? And I have a couple simple answers to that question. First and foremost, just talk about neuropathy. There's over 20 million Americans that suffer from one of the 100 different types of neuropathy, and you'd be surprised once you start talking about it, most people have heard of it. And so conversation leads to education and awareness. Also, check out our website and follow us on social media, especially Twitter. We're trying to grow our Twitter account at Neuropathy Act. It's Neuropathy Act. So definitely follow us on Twitter if you don't already. The third ask and way to help us is to donate plasma. It's an easy process. You typically get paid for it, and it helps people like me continue to get my medication on a monthly basis because IVIG is a plasma-derived product. So we need plasma in order to make the medication that allows me to walk and function and thousands of others like me. And last, we're not a membership organization. We don't charge patients to be a member. We'll take money from patients if they contribute, but we don't charge them. So make a donation or bid on the items in the back of the room in the silent auction. We have some great items back there. They were all donated to us. So anything we make goes right back into direct patient services. So make sure you definitely donate. It closes at 2:15 this afternoon. Now I have the distinct honor of introducing the NAF's 2018 You Are Our Hero Award. But first, I just wanted to recognize two people that are here today that are past winners and that are personal inspirations and heroes to me. The first one is amazing. He's been here for the last 5 or 6 years in a row. It's Jerry Mathers. He's an American television, film, and stage actor, better known as Beaver, the Beaver, from the hit show Leave It to Beaver. In the mid-'90s, Jerry, stand up. Let them see you. In the mid-'90s, Jerry was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and shortly thereafter DPN, diabetic peripheral neuropathy. He took preventative action, lost 55 pounds, and is currently one of the leading lecturers on diabetic peripheral neuropathy. I've gotten to know Jerry over the years, and he's absolutely amazing. He's a great partner of the NAF, and he's contributed countless hours of his time to help us out on various projects. He's an absolute class act in every way. He's authentic, humble, and just an all-around swell guy. I think that's from the 1950s, right? Swell, that word? Way before my time. But anyway, Jerry, thank you for all your help with me, the Neuropathy Action Foundation, and most importantly, the neuropathy community over the years. The second person is Barbie Ingall. And Barbie, stand up, Barbie. She's actually sitting next to her husband, Ken. Yes, you heard that right. It's Ken and Barbie. They're married. Very cute, and it's real. It's not a lie. Barbie amazes me. Her social media following has recently given her the opportunity to be a star in multiple reality TV shows. I think at last count, between the International Pain Foundation, which she's the founder of, and her personal accounts, she's got like over 100,000 followers, which is just mind-blowing to me. Barbie is a best-selling author, pain educator, pain patient advocate, and founder of the International Pain Foundation. She's an absolute inspiration. Even though she's famous now, she'll always just be known as my friend Barbie. But we can't lose sight of the fact that for all she does, she suffers from tremendous pain at times. And during all this, she always puts on a smiling face, a positive attitude, and always puts others before her own needs. There have been countless times where I've talked to her where she's in the hospital, she's receiving treatment, she can barely talk, but she's always there to help myself and help others who need help. This year's award goes to somebody I've known for probably 12 or 13 years now, actually about 13 years. Bev Anderson, who is the founder and president of the Western Neuropathy Association. Shortly after Bev retired from a 34-year teaching career, she was diagnosed with hereditary sensory autonomic neuropathy after a lifetime of wondering why she had problems with some of the physical activities that other people thought were so easy. She started her first neuropathy support group in 1998 and expected a half dozen people to show up, and over 30 showed up. This group has met nearly monthly since its inception, and one by one, she and her colleagues started forming other groups to over 40 groups throughout California, Oregon, and Nevada. Bev dedicates everything she does to neuropathy, and her tenacity, hard work, and determination are always dedicated and going toward people who suffer from neuropathy. You know, the NAF is founded on the basic premise. It's a Margaret Mead quote. It's actually on our website. And the quote is, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And Bev, one by one, you've changed me, you've changed so many others. And for that reason, we give you our 2018 You Are Our Hero Award. Oh, sorry. Are you okay? Oh, hang on. There you go. Got it?
I have to touch something.
Got it. No, this is yours. I'll take this.
Okay, thank you. They're actually going to let me say something, so this is really good. I'm wobbling a little bit more because I had a toe amputated about 4 weeks ago, and it's going real well. One thing about neuropathy, if you're numb enough, you don't feel it. I thank Dominick Spatafora and the board of the Neuropathy Action Foundation for this spectacular honor. Dominick and I met in the beginning stages of the organization of Neuropathy Action Foundation and have encouraged each other along the way. This strategic foundation has made a major difference in the knowledge of neuropathy, especially in the medical community, which still has a long way to learn a lot about neuropathy. The Western Neuropathy Association started in November 1998, as Dominick mentioned, so we celebrate our 20th year this year. And we started out as the Placer, Nevada County Neuropathy Association, because we had two groups by then, one in Auburn and one in Grass Valley. With the encouragement of Mary Donovan, a founder of the Neuropathy Association, we incorporated in 2001 and affiliated with the Neuropathy Association as the Northern California chapter of the Neuropathy Association. We specialize in support groups and had one support group in meeting within driving distance of most people in Northern California from above a line starting from Fresno to Monterey, and including both Fresno and Monterey. There were two groups in Southern California. Neither group exists today. We asked to become the Pacific chapter of the Neuropathy Association to start trying to spread south. It was granted, and new groups started with currently 4 groups meeting regularly. We also have groups in Grants Pass, Oregon, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And we had a gentleman, and I don't know if he could stand, the fellow from Palm Springs. He's have a fellow that's volunteering already to start a new support group in Palm Springs. So we're really delighted. I'd like to give a shout out to our Las Vegas group, because how many are here from Las Vegas? Anyone here from Las Vegas? I understood some were coming. But they do have a group that's meeting to watch the live streaming. And we also have a group meeting in Palo Alto. The San Jose and the Redwood City support groups are sponsoring a viewing party in Palo Alto today. We would have more groups if we could find more people willing to lead a group. You know, it doesn't have to be a big town to have a support group. We just started a sort of an informal one. There's probably going to become, but there's a little town called Gray Eagle. Maybe some of you know Gray Eagle, up in the mountains above Redding area. I mean, not actually, more in the Chico area. And they're just getting a group going. We want more people to know. We want more people to know about neuropathy, and the best way to get the word out to people and to motivate them to do so is to have a support group. However, even though we help people lead groups, they don't feel alone, and they get leading, keeping people. We keep getting information. It's still one of our hardest things to do is to keep leaders and keep them going. So we really want to encourage that. When the Neuropathy Association dissolved in December 2014, we continued as an independent organization. We had always been our own corporation because we were California Public Benefit Corporation. We had to change our name again, and we became the Western Neuropathy Association with an emphasis on California, Nevada, and Oregon. As I said, our chief focus is getting information out with the emphasis on support groups. However, we have special projects that ever get more information to our members. We thought carefully about how we could. I'm rushing because I have somebody and I know what that means. But I have a limit of. I wrote it out and I tested it so it stayed 5 minutes. They said I had 5 minutes, so it should work if I don't get too wordy in between. We thought carefully about how we could make a difference in what doctors, especially neurologists, know about neuropathy. We decided that getting a book from a leading neuropathy authority into the hands of those training to be neurologists would be a good move. We delivered them to one medical center training neurologists and had a good response. We have books for 2 more that will be delivered soon. We need to raise funds to keep going until every training site in California, Nevada, and Oregon have those books. The neurology residents are there for 3 years. If they go for the neuromuscular designation, most needed by people with neuropathy, it is 4 years. We are now presenting peripheral neuropathy and neuropathic pain into the light by Gerard Said in Paris, France, considered to be one of the world's greatest authorities on neuropathy. It makes it so no U.S. person seems to be in competition with any other. We didn't get one person's book and not another, because Dr. Said is considered a world expert. The book covers neuropathy in depth, but is readable and not lengthy. It is commissioned by the Neuropathy Trust in the United Kingdom, so we are dealing with the British company with the U.S. collaborator to get a good price for the books. One thing I could mention here is the amazement I had one night sending an email to Dr. Said and being invited into a phone conversation between him and a leading neurologist in London. My late hours coincided fine with their day. When I had a request from a lady in northern England for a neurologist that I knew that knew about neuropathy, I contacted the London neurologist. He explained that with their medical system, doctors are trained in areas of need and are in communication, and he gave me the name and contact information for a neurologist to the north of her small town and one to the south. We have been working with a research group from the University of California at Davis. This is at the university campus for over 3 years now. Their proposal for a pain medication that has won a competition at the National Institutes of Health goes to human trials early in 2019. We are very excited about it. If you are a member of, and it's in our information. If you are a member of WNA, just $30 a year, you get a monthly newsletter. You can pick up a sample at our booth back in the back. Lately, it has featured articles about new medications and treatments every month, with UC Davis pain medication providing regular reports. If you would be willing to lead a group by yourself or better with someone else that you know, we would be glad to help you get started. We have copies of our basic guide to starting and developing support groups available at our booth at the back of this room. Come by and Pam or Daryl or I will be glad to get acquainted and exchange contact information. You have our brochure in your bag, or you can pick up one at the information desk outside or at our booth. My card is on our table. We would be glad to welcome you to the exciting world of telling people about neuropathy. I have a sign on my car. I get people talking to me at the grocery store or someplace else. They'll run up and say, neuropathy, you know something about neuropathy. Thank you for your attention and have a wonderful day.